What is up, you guys? I am Missy Renee, and in today's video we're going to break down the law of assumption for beginners. So basically consider this law of assumption 101. So if manifestation and conscious creation are topics that you are interested in learning more about, then definitely do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that way you're notified when I release new videos every week. If you are interested in more resources such as working with me one-on-one or my new Facebook group, I will have links to those down in the description box below, so definitely don't forget to check it out. So this video is for people who might be just discovering the law and need a comprehensive background and a breakdown of what it is and how it works. So this video may not apply to all of you, but nonetheless, I still think it is helpful to have this out there for anyone who may be brand new to the law and has no idea how this works, to get the basic grasp and understanding. So consider this video the Law of Assumption 101, where I am going to break down the law in as clear and detailed as I can in a way that hopefully will make sense and give you a better grasp of what this law is, what it does, and how to apply it in your world. So if you are brand new to the law of assumption, or if you have a friend or family member that may be brand new to the law of assumption and need a breakdown in a very clear, explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old, then definitely stick around through the end of the video, because we're going to go back to the basics and break down the law of assumption. If we could sum up the law of assumption in one sentence, it would be that whatever you assume is true is going to be true for you in your reality or in your experience. The law states that you are the operant power in your world, and that whatever experiences you have are going to be based on the assumptions and beliefs that you carry. So this all boils down to your assumptions, to your beliefs, your perceptions. All that you believe and assume is true for you is going to be true for you in your reality. And if you wish to change your experience, if you wish to change your circumstances, you must do so first by changing these beliefs and assumptions. So for example, if you have a belief that you have to work really hard in order to succeed at life, then that will be your experience. You're going to experience having to work very hard in order to reach any sort of level of success. If you believe that all men are assholes or that all women are gold diggers, then you are going to encounter nothing but assholes or gold diggers. Stripped down and boiled to the most basic way to explain it, what you assume is going to be what determines the circumstances, the people, the experiences, all of it. So if you wish to change your circumstances, if you are currently not happy with the circumstances that you find yourself in, the way to do this is through changing the beliefs and assumptions that you have, whether it comes to relationships, whether it comes to money and finances or business, whether it comes to personal development. Whatever the beliefs and assumptions you have around these concepts of relationships, of love, of money, whatever, is ultimately going to be the circumstances that you encounter. And the way that we change our beliefs and assumptions is through our own imagination. So one of the cornerstones of the law of assumption states that your imagination creates your reality. And we're going to get to that more in a moment. But basically, if you are not happy with the circumstances that you find yourself in, or if you find the experiences not desirable, the way to go about changing this is through your imagination, because your imagination creates your reality. And the most well-known teacher of the law of assumption was a man named Neville Goddard, who went by Neville for short. And Neville was a spiritual teacher, author, and lecturer in the mid to late half of the last century, the 20th century. And according to Neville, your imagination is the creative power that you hold, because it is through your imagination that you can ultimately change the beliefs and assumptions that you carry. Your imagination is the actual creative power of God. Your imagination gives you the power to save yourself from any circumstance that you find yourself in. And there are no limitations through the imagination, because your imagination is the gateway to consciousness, or all that exists. Now, this is when people start getting a little bit confused because they hear the words like consciousness and states getting thrown around a lot. But what exactly does it mean? What does consciousness mean? According to the law, consciousness is the cause and substance of everything in this world, everything in this universe. Consciousness is the fabric that binds everything in existence together. So anything that you can think of, anything that you can imagine, any experience that you have, physical or imagined, all of these things exist within consciousness and is made up of consciousness. So because everything exists within consciousness and is all combined and attached, this means that your consciousness is the only reality and the actual reality. So it is what you are aware of that is the actual reality, not the physical 3D reality that we perceive. Everything that you can think of, anything that you experience, any thought that you have, all things in this universe, known and unknown, all exist within consciousness and is made up of consciousness. You can think of it as the fabric that binds everything together. And because all things exist in consciousness, this means that creation is already finished. This means that anything that you can imagine, anything that you can conspire, anything that you can conceive of already exists as its own reality. This is very similar to parallel realities or the many worlds theory, in that all things already exist as possibilities, and it is whatever you give your focus and attention to and what you are aware of that becomes the reality that you experience. There are infinite versions of the timeline that you are in. There are infinite versions of every person that you've encountered or will encounter or know right now. There are infinite timelines, past, present, and future, and we are constantly moving through consciousness and through these infinite possibilities based on the assumptions and beliefs that we carry. And Neville referred to these realities as states of consciousness. Each state is a reality in and of itself. A state is essentially an attitude of mind, a state of experience with the body of beliefs. And we are constantly moving in and out of different states of consciousness or realities based on the beliefs and assumptions that we carry. We are always expressing or experiencing a state by identifying with it. So for example, if you have a belief that you are poor, you are identifying with the state of being poor, and thus that will be your experience. That will become your reality. If you identify with being confident, if you identify with being loved, if you identify with being unwanted or undesired, those are all ways that you are expressing these states and identifying with them and merging into that experience. An easy way to think about it is all states exist as possibilities, and it's the ones that you identify with that ultimately become the physical reality that you experience. And we have always been doing this. We have always been moving in and out of different states of consciousness or realities based on the body of beliefs that we carry. It's just for the vast majority of us, we've been doing this unconsciously. We haven't been aware that we have, in fact, been the ones creating this experience all along. And the law of assumption teaches that you can, in fact, decide at any moment consciously to change your experience and to manifest anything that you desire. And you do this through the power of your own wonderful human imagination. You can think of the imagination as the doorway to consciousness, the doorway to which everything exists. If you desire to see a change in your world, then you must first go into imagination and feel yourself as the version that you desire to be, or feel yourself in that state of consciousness as if it's really your experience right now. Neville taught that you can experience anything that you desire by feeling the wish fulfilled, or by feeling that version of you that has the thing that you desire. Because imagination is completely limitless, and it's through imagination that you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can be whoever you want. There are no restrictions on what you can imagine. And it is through feeling that state or that reality in imagination that will ultimately move you into that reality. And the state or attitude of mind that you most constantly return to determines your dwelling place, or the dominant state of consciousness. So if you find yourself constantly going back to the place of being poor, being unloved, being not good enough, then that is your dominant state of consciousness. And the dominant state of consciousness is ultimately what determines the 3D reality. It is through imagination that you can move yourself into that new reality first, because imagination is the doorway to consciousness. And consciousness is the only reality. It is the true reality. Everything in your 3D physical world is just a shadow or an outpicturing of what you imagine and what you believe to be true. So to change your circumstances on the outside, you must first change the circumstances on the inside. That is, within imagination. And a lot of people tend to compare this with the law of attraction. And it is usually through the law of attraction that people come to find about the law of assumption. But they are not one and the same. Though there are similarities, there are also many differences, and the differences are huge. And I've made a complete breakdown of the law of attraction versus the law of assumption. So if you want to learn more about the differences between the two, you can check out the video I made up here and also down in the description box below. But the biggest key difference being that in the law of assumption, you are the operant power. You are ultimately the one in the driver's seat. You are not at the mercy of the universe. You are not the co-creator. It is 100% you, and there are no restrictions, sans the restrictions we put on ourselves. There is no great power outside of you, and you are not at the mercy of anything that exists externally. You can, at any point and any time, move into that new reality and experience that by first experiencing that desire in imagination. And through my videos and through this channel, I go into great detail on different aspects of the law of assumption, answering a lot of the most frequently asked questions that I get. If you are a newbie and want to learn more about the law, definitely check out the playlist that I made covering all the manifestation fundamentals, or the key aspects and important things to know when it comes to the law. You can check out the playlist down in the description box. I will leave a link for it there and also up here. But at its core, the law of assumption teaches you that whatever you assume to be true about you and the world around you is ultimately going to determine the experiences that you have and the people that you meet. Everything down to the smallest little insignificant things to the massive circumstances and events, all of which at any point you are in control and you can change at any time. And you do this through exercising the power of your imagination. because through imagination, anything is possible. It is through imagination that we can change any limiting belief or assumption that creates unwanted experiences, and we can effectively move into the place that we desire to be. All things are possible because everything already exists as a possibility. And through the power of your own wonderful human imagination, you can turn that possibility into an objective reality. And that is how you manifest anything that you want. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you know somebody interested in learning more about the law, definitely be sure to share it. Let them know about this video, because my ultimate aim is to bring the law to as many people's awareness as possible. And if you are interested in checking out any of my other resources, I will have links down in the description box below to my one-on-one coaching, my blog, my social channels, my Facebook group, podcast, all sorts of good stuff down there, so definitely don't forget to check it out. Also, do not forget to check out these videos over here. Each video is a different topic, but they all go into how to create the most amazing life possible. So until we meet next time, take care, be well, and never forget that through the imagination, anything is possible. Happy manifesting, y'all.